Hello everybody, this is section 12.2, which is simplifying rational expressions. You're just going to simplify things down using factoring and some of the rules of exponents that you've already learned. So if you have something like this, which is a binomial divided by a monomial, one way you could do it is to just separate it and go 12x to the fifth divided by 3x plus 9x to the fourth divided by 3x. So basically you're putting both of these terms over the 3x, and now you use your rules of exponents to divide, and you get 4x to the fourth plus 3x to the third. And now you simplified it down. Okay, here's another one in green. 6x plus 12 over x divided by 2. If you factor a 6 out of the top, you're left with 6x plus 2 over x plus 2. And the denominator, because it's a binomial, you have to think of it as having parentheses. And now you can cancel out from top and bottom. And x plus 2 divided by x plus 2 is 1. So your answer is just 6. Okay. Here's another one. Now you got a binomial divided by a trinomial. So again, what you want to try and do is factor out as much as you can to see what you can cancel down. So on the top, I can get 2, factor out of 2, and I'm left with x minus 6. And on the bottom, this is where I got to practice my factoring. And I'm going to get x. And because this is a plus and a minus, I know it's going to be minus, minus. And factors of 6 that add up to 7 is just 1 and 6. So I factor this down to this, x minus 1 times x minus 6. And now you can see that this cancels off to 1. And I'm left with 2 over x minus 1. And in your answer, you can actually drop off the parentheses. Okay. Sorry, I took off my slippers. They were squeaking. Okay, here's one that you're going to need you're going to use number 4 for number 5. And I only have 5 examples, by the way. Okay, so I'll leave it like this so you can see them. If I have x minus 4 over 4 minus x, if it's the same numbers just with a, just so you know, if it happened to be x plus 4 over 4 plus x, that's the same thing because by commutative property of addition, I could just change the bottom to x plus 4. I can just change it like that. And now these cancel each other out and I'm left with 1. Okay, but because it's subtraction, I cannot just switch them around. And I cannot cancel them out either because they're not the same thing. X minus 4 is not the same as 4 minus x. Okay, but what I could do is if I factored out a negative 1 from the top, if I factor out a negative 1 from the top, I'm left with negative x plus 4 over 4 minus x. Now I can actually see this. If I flip this around and just move the 4 in front, I would get negative 1, 4 minus x over 4 minus x. And now you can see that I can cancel these down if I think of it like this. And I'm left with negative 1. Okay, so this is one of the tricky ones. If you see that these two are the same, the x and the 4, you can pull a negative 1 out of either the top or the bottom. I could have factored it out of the bottom. Either way, and would have been the same. So if I had something like, even if I had y minus 7 over 7 minus y, as long as they're the same, these two are the same, you can do the negative 1. You can factor out the negative 1. Okay? And you'll see what I mean when we go to number 5. So here's the last example here. On the top, I can change that to 5x minus 3. And the bottom is the difference of squares. So I would get 3 plus x and 3 minus x. Okay. And right here I can see that these two are the same, except like this case, they're backwards, x minus 3, 3 minus x. So I can divide either top or bottom by negative 1, doesn't matter. I'll put that negative out of the top, so I'll move it, and I'll even move the negative in front of the 5. And I get, if I pull a negative 1, actually I'll show it so you can see this step. If I leave the 5, I'll pull a negative 1 out of here, and then I get negative x plus 3. And then I'm still left with 3 plus x and 3 minus x. Okay. I'm going to move 5 times negative 1. I can just combine those two to negative 5. I'm going to flip these around to 3 minus x. And I'm going to leave the bottom the same. 3 plus x times 3 minus x. And now I can see that these cancel down. And I'm left with negative 5 over 3 plus x. Or you can even write it as negative 5 over x plus 3. So you can put the variable in front because it's addition. Okay, either one is your answers. That's section 12.2, simplifying rational expressions. I hope this helps.